And you thought Sam's Magnus performance was bad, guys. His headset throwing, no better.
Mason is a sniper, though. I mean, you gotta be impressed by that.
I mean, M-God carrying DC as usual.
That was impressive. 2 for 2 on the CC&C throw.
He knew who he wanted too.
Yeah.
Didn't hesitate to go and put him back on after he knocked him down again.
I don't think he could have done that if there wasn't the CC&C. If there was like anything else, I don't think he would have stepped up.
You know, Mason's really good when he cares.
Yeah. All right, Lacoste, you impressed?
Yeah, I'm
Outdoing
impressed
NP?
by Mason. I've done it once. I'm not sure I could be able to do it twice.
Well, they're going to be going up in their next match against somebody. VGJ, that's who. God, I'm not prepared for this. VGJ is going to be taking on DC next.
Maybe you need a nap like
yeah, I know.
like Jack over here.
I rocked up. Haven't had much sleep, but yeah. So we're going to see some Chinese Dota versus some NA Dota. How are you guys feeling about this match?
Oh, come on. You asking me?
Yeah, Charlie. Let's see.
NA Dota all the way. Honestly,
Mason God?
VG. Yeah, like I think DC probably didn't execute very well in the first game, and they had some drafting mistakes in the third game that they played. But I think like they went over those things. Like they know what they did wrong. I think the Pit Lord pick was a weird aberration.
Yep.
It was like a very last minute audible, and I don't think they'll do these things again. Whereas I think VG Gaming just has some more just systemic problems overall.
How we're doing these headsets. So, by the way, guys, you guys at home can actually win one of these Sennheiser headsets. These are the ones that were used in the throw. This is still functional, still rock solid, still works. LGD is actually playing with them yesterday, so.
VGJ is playing with them right now, if I'm not mistaken.
It's got Mason's fingerprint still on it, right? So those are...
Maybe transfer some of those Mason skills. Yeah, there we go. This is maybe what you need to win the summer with. You guys can, of course, enter one of the giveaways that we are doing to get one of these Sennheiser headsets. Head on over to that link that you see there on your screen. And as said, rock solid. These things just do not break. Still functional even after Mason had his way with them. And we will be seeing Mason action, as said, coming up in this next match. Cost, you feeling like it's kind of good, like how Charlie said? Do you think the NA Dota boys have an edge in this one? Do you think VGJ have more? They lost to Navi 2-0 on the opening day. Are they going to bounce back? How are you feeling about this match?
I'm more convinced for DC. VGJ has a lot of problems. I think they're stuck with their picks in the previous patch as well. Maybe even 2 patches. From what I see, the way they open the picks with a Sanking Dazzle in the last series as well. I don't think that's actually that strong.
Okay, Jack, Chinese Dota expert, fill us in. What's the no with VGJ?
Well, these two teams last played during Kiev, and I think it was a 2-0 for VGJ. I remember the first game, they kind of baited DC into fighting them. They had like a Medusa lineup. I don't think they'll go with that in this current patch, but they have, among like some of the Chinese teams that have struggled to find their form on the new patch, they've definitely been one of them. We've seen IG really have a lot of trouble. I don't think VGJ has won a series yet since the patch changed. Like I think we had them at Star Ladder a couple of weeks ago. They lost both series that they played there, and then obviously yesterday as well. So I think they came into the tournament pretty happy with the draw when they found out what it was, but I think they've really struggled to find themselves a bit, and just based on that alone, I'd have to give DC the edge here as well.
This is also a different DC team than the DC that faced VGJ at the major. New addition of Forev.
Yeah.
So
Stronger looking DC, perhaps.
no, he can hit some RPs.
Good quality to have in an offlaner. It's kind of disappointing for VGJ. You know, this is FY, Fenrir, ROTK. These guys are all Chinese Dota legends. They had kind of looked promising when they did really well at that first Star Ladder when they lost in the finals to Liquid and then got invited to the major and just haven't really delivered. It's kind of, you just expect those kind of names to do well. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on why that's happened that way.
Yeah, I think, me and Jack were talking about this, and you mentioned that ROTK teams typically do well in the beginning and then just fall off a cliff later in the year.
It seems to have happened a few times where, like, after he forms a team, they do very well initially, and then something breaks apart. I'm not really sure if if I mean, he's an extremely vocal guy, so maybe at some point, like, if you keep hearing the same person and their ideas, you start to tune it out a little bit, especially if you're not doing well. I don't know if that's like a big part of the reason why, especially given his reputation and the amount of respect there is for him. But I just, this team has really just looked kind of lost, and I don't want to put it on ROTK or anybody like that, but if he misses a second TI in a row, if we're looking ahead, then that would be pretty damaging for him personally, for his legacy.
Yeah, we had Jeremy Lin here at the summit, bring some NBA styles to get some insight on this. He's the guy this team was modeled after, and he, I don't know, must be not too impressed by the results so far. So, see if VGJ can turn it around or what's going to be happening. Yeah, doesn't really feel like VGJ have kind of nailed it just yet. But DC, they're in the lower bracket as well. They had a tough round one matchup against Secret, but they actually looked pretty good despite losing, I feel.
Yeah, I think, teams with Bulba on it, it's like a hallmark of his teams. He always brings some good ideas, some really good understanding in these patches and how to play against certain teams. His issue is just, it's just always execution, and we'll see if he can bring it here.
Yeah, well, DC before with Demon, they swapped roles, Bulba on position 4/5, and with the addition of Forev, I think this team is so much stronger right now. That they play differently, and as you mentioned, Bulba, not the guy that delivers, but brings so much in terms of strategies and new ideas to the table.
Do you think he needs to deliver to beat VGJ, or is it going to be like, can they just win on strategy, picks alone?
No, I think he absolutely needs to deliver. I think the way Dota's progressed now, all these teams have gone to the point where every little thing matters. And so, you mess up one time in a draft where you have a small window or something. It all matters.
It's kind of game one against Secret where DC seemed to have that early game edge and then threw away a bit of their lead. But we'll see. Bulba is forward position, so this is kind of, or we're seeing a lot of emphasis and talk about forward position. Do you think this is going to be a good role for Bulba to be playing? They can have a big impact on?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the problems with the old DC is when they had Dubu and Jimmy on, they're both sort of 5 players. They didn't have a true 4 player. Dubu's like sitting in the lane. Jimmy's trying to play 4, but he's like playing that weird Jimmy 4 where he's running around the map, like in weird positions, sometimes dying, but he's not really like pressuring other lanes.
Yep. Well, here's their opposition. It's going to be VG Gaming Jeremy, or VGJ. DC's roster, Dubu in the captain and draft role. We're back to VGJ. We'll go back and forth however we like, as we'll see how they're going to be matching up in just a second. The draft should be getting underway fairly soon as teams join the lobby. Seems like for the most part we feel VGJ kind of a bit lost. DC have the edge here. What can VGJ do to actually pull out a win here? Is it going to be drafts, strategy, just playing better?
Yeah, I think they need to play around Freeze more on the mid lane. Freeze was one of the best Linas that I saw, and with the recent nerfs to Lina, he kind of fallen off in my eyes. So they need to give him advantage in the early stages of the game, because the mid game matters more right now. And also they need to give ROTK a classic initiator hero, something with a blink dagger, and he needs to hit a good timing on it, maybe even a Tide Hunter as well.
I think they might need they're probably going to switch up their draft philosophy a little bit. I think yesterday, both games, like, they had to come out to a good start in lanes, and they had to basically snowball slowly from there and take small skirmishes, but they didn't have a team fight lineup in either game, and that didn't leave them much margin for error. Once they started taking the team fights against Na'Vi, they were at a clear disadvantage. So just from talking to them like just now, like, well, one, I think their form and state, as they've said themselves, is not good. Like, they're not feeling good about themselves right now as a team, but also I feel like the draft has to switch up a little bit, because they put themselves in a corner yesterday where if you lost like one bit of tempo, like one fight, whether it was a Roche fight against Na'Vi or if the lanes didn't go well, it felt like they put themselves in an impossible position. And so there are multiple remedies for that. If you pick, say, a little bit greedier, or you put more stock in the late game so the pressure's on the other team to come to you maybe more, instead of them trying to constantly maintain vision and get pickoffs. That could be a switch up that could be useful for them. Although, generally speaking, that's not really aggressive's forte, and so that's traditionally been something that is harder to play into if you're going to make him play that role. You'd put a player like Freeze on a greedier hero instead. I'm not sure if they're going to go that way, especially with how the mid has been going in this patch.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it seems like mid, extra creep, a lot more emphasis on the mid having a big impact on the game now with that. We saw VGJ there getting ready, buying up their compendium levels, getting their chests. These Chinese players always seem to have the highest level compendiums, the most erotic-looking penis towers. You know, like it's all about the size of your towers these days.
Yeah, you queue up, you know, you hit a stack late at night or whatever, and all those you get a stack and like their tower is huge. You see big compendium levels. I bet somebody on that team has a Chinese name.
Yeah, when you see a huge tower, you don't want to climb on it.
Oh, he's still opening these chests. He needs to. Well, it's RTK as well. They're all going on the chest openings pre-match. This is their warm-up, I guess. You know, making sure they. Oh, Treasure 2 just got released.
Yeah, is this what Jeremy Lin invested in?
Treasure 2.
Treasure 2 is out, guys. This is what's going on.
Right.
That's why.
Hey, Grant, you want to cast for me? I gotta open some chests.
Let's stop the game for a little bit. We got something to.
We've got chests to look at.
I got chests to open, man.
Immortals 2. There's more. I hope the players are going to be sporting them in this match because I want to be.
I also want to. Yeah, I want to see this stuff.
The game coordinator is down. This is what the delay is for, actually, guys. This is why we haven't.
I thought it was another network bar update.
Yes. You know,
maybe behind us was just entertained just now because Aggressive had his shirt up real high, which reminds me a bit of Ice last year because when he was practicing at the summer afterwards, he'd just have his shirt off entirely. It was just too warm for him. But that's a super random reference.
A Necro Immortal. That was like cool looking stuff. So I mean, that's the Summit way. Shirt off, shoes off, play some Dota, just chill outside. Some nice casual vibes going.
You know what's cool about this couch? All four of us have spent significant time living in a different region of the world this past year.
What?
Meaning, like as in like 4 different ones? I'm not following.
Yeah, 4 different regions.
Yeah,
4 different regions. I've been in China.
Oh, okay.
China, NA, EU, and then I guess Australia, SEA. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're well represented.
We've got every region covered here. What are we lacking? Some South American
South
Dota.
Americans get fogged over here.
Some CIS maybe. You're kind of Croatia's kind of like almost in between Western Europe and CIS.
Yeah, it's more of a Europe. We also lack Antarctica as well. Do we have a representative? Who's the closest one?
Oh, can we take a look?
Oh. Dude, let's look at this.
Can we show the stream and like just browse through? This is a Pegasus Keeper of the Light. I need it on that.
Yeah, show the stream this. Let's go through. Let's take our time and let's go through all this. Oh, what is this?
Golden Immortal Treasure Chest.
Oh,
Golden Pudge.
Wow, Pudge.
Oh shit!
What is this centipede arm?
Yeah, that's straight out of the Human Centipede. I don't know about that.
Straight out of the Human Centipede. Have you seen the Human Centipede?
That's
not
I just
South
assume
Park.
it's a Human Centipede, you know, hybrid.
That is not exactly what
I
that
like
movie
animals,
is.
you know.
All right, what's that Necro set?
It's not that good looking. That's
That's
the best
I mean,
one.
it's
huh?
cool.
That's a cool scythe. I mean,
it's maybe got a good animation, you know. You can't shut it down just yet.
All right, well, ooh.
The Shadow Fiend Bloodseeker set.
that's nice.
Is that
Is
like
it only a head?
It's just leaking
It's
blood
just
and
the head,
shadow, dude.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I like the okay.
I like the golden one more.
That looks like normal, you know, kind of.
What is this?
Oh, it's got a little thing at the top. Look, it's got the
I
little
like this.
critters.
Someone should get fired for.
Are those
for
like
this.
hobbits? Is that like a hobbit?
No, you know what that looks like?
Lord of the
What's
Rings
that character
reference?
called? You know what I'm talking about? That cartoon character that looks like that with like the. Was it? No, isn't it South Park? No. What is? Oh, I'm missing the reference. I gotta.
Pumpkin heads,
No.
gremlins,
All right,
cool shield,
cool shield.
not bad.
I'm not impressed, to be honest. I just want
No?
the golden Pudge arm, and that's it.
But the golden pudges you sold though, so you may not be impressed, but you're now gonna go and buy 200 of those suckers just to
No.
get a golden pudge.
I'm waiting for a fan to buy it for me.
Here are their viewers. This guy needs
Well
needs
played.
chests.
Well played, Lacoste.
Oh.
I enjoyed that.
What level are you guys on your compendiums?
420 something.
80 something.
I'm 400 something, so I could get more double downs, and so I can lose MMR even faster.
All right, so I want to share this story with the viewers. Jack has spent almost the entirety of this event not casting, not being on the couch. Instead, he's been playing pubs almost the entire time. He's on like, before today, he was on this like ridiculous losing streak. I think you dropped like 500 MMR or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. until you found, what was it? What turned it around for you?
Until I found a great man named the Franz who took me under his wing and decided to tutor me in the ways of the. Well, you'll see.
No, just say it. Just say it. Don't be ashamed.
I can't give away the secret just yet, man.
All right, I'm not going to hold the viewers in suspense. Jack is a Jungle Venomancer player now. Yep. Jack
I posted a picture on my Twitter of Jack's face, the face of regret when you lose so much games and you're so tired, so you need to take a nap.
Franz has a name for it. It's called the Kite Lord. Please forgive me if you run into me. Just give me a couple minutes in the jungle, and I promise I'll do things.
The Kite Lord. There's the knee breaker. What about the knee breaker, Jack?
The knee breaker. That's what he calls it.
Jungle Venomancer I've ever seen in my life.
That's what he calls it. The knee breaker. Might miss a stack here or there. You know, it's all right. It's all right. It'll work out.
Well, the thing is, Jack has unique style, and there's other people coming to Jack saying different things, so he can't adapt to all of that. So you should just stick to your own thoughts.
It's really fun having some of the, finest players in the world right behind you, ready to hindsight you and give you advice and coach you. It's great. It's actually very entertaining, so I've enjoyed that.
You're very entertaining to watch play, Pubs, but luckily we don't have to watch any more of Jack's Pubs. We have got DC versus VG Gaming, Jeremy, coming up your way as the Game 1 draft has begun after all these issues. Hopefully we get to see some of those new Flash Immortals. We'll have to wait and see what the band
probably will not see the Meepo. I'd be very surprised if that wasn't first out of the...
Meepo first band.
Yeah.
I would do that every single time against DC.
What's the second band? Clock? I guess that's the Bulba's most comfortable hero.
Ooh, this is a CM. I mean, very fair. It's like a safe opener. I don't think these teams haven't faced each other yet in the new patch, so well, they take the clock themselves.
Yep, why ban if you're going to pick it? The Nyx, Nyx Sanking, kind of the other main 4 positions we've seen quite a bit of. Could be what DC Bulba have in mind for us, and we'll have to wait and see what they go for. Rubik is
the Bulba Rubik.
Ooh. All right, Bulba Rubik. In for something special. What is special about the Bulba Rubik, Charlie?
He's a wizard, just like Bulba himself.
He's one with the Rubik.
You know, the one thing that is I guess a little unfortunate about this first 2 opening from DC is that you sort of, unless it's a Dubu Rubik, which is I feel like is unlikely, you are sort of showing your offlaner here. Normally when you pick a Sand King, you have that option of having him 3 or 4 and you don't really know, but since they pick the Rubik in conjunction with it, you sort of know now.
So you think the response to that is likely maybe you now know you can pick a good carry to match up against Sand King?
I don't think it's going to be off-lane Sand King. No one's been doing that recently.
I feel like
we've seen off-lane Sand King.
And it's not very effective.
So from RTK at least, the other day.
But the opening is good. Rubik, one of the best heroes against Sand King as well. Instant cast, no animation, null field. Get some damage reduced also.
I feel like they're kind of going at FY's hero pool a little bit here too. They have the Night Stalker band, you have the Rubik and Sand King, two 4s that FY has obviously played very well too. And then VGJ going with the Witch Doctor, which was used quite successfully against them both games yesterday by Navi, including first pick the second time. So it might be one of those situations where if you're a little bit lost as a team, you start to look at what's been used successfully against you, especially recently, and you're like, hey, maybe that could work for us. Maybe build something around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of the last, I think it was Star Ladder, where EG was pretty lost in the patch, and then they just stole Navi's strats, and they used them pretty effectively at TI.
Well, that was the Star Ladder at this house before TI?
Yes.
Gotcha.
That was a Navi Secret final, was it?
Yeah, that was when Navi beat Secret and I think got invited to TI because of that tournament, if I recall correctly. Actually, maybe it was after the TI invites, I can't remember.
Oh no, every year's a blur as you get older, man.
There's some.
Oh, I believe it was after, because it was late July, and then we had the summit before that where the invites had already been decided, but it was kind of like a nice tune-up.
Oh, see our next couple of bands streaming in here. DC going to take out the Embers, bands onto the Puck. For something that Freeze is kind of known for and has played a lot of. The VGJ side. Puck, always that scary mid laner at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised Nyx Assassin actually survived. Maybe because they opened with both Clock and Sanking, so it's not needed. I talked to Fog a little bit about the position 4 heroes. Right now I think Sanking and Nyx Assassin are one of the best.
I think both teams probably have their 4s already in the Clockwork and most likely the Rubik. And I think you usually see Nyx in response to
Ember Spirit.
Embers or, you know, Coddles or something like that.
Bad news for VGJ. Fenrir is getting out of the seat. He's being replaced by Roland, our admin. Do not fancy their chances anymore. Tech issues they're going to be sorting out. But yeah, so no real big surprise with the bans. The silencer perhaps something you don't see all too often banned out, but it is something that I'd say Jack, the Chinese teams kind of prioritize quite a lot as a support.
Yeah, both ways. I think when the patch first came out, a lot of them were running it mid. You'd see it a lot in pubs as well. And I think Freeze has played that quite successfully a few times. Just a very strong bullying mid laner and opens up an earlier timing. I think another solution, if you feel kind of lost on the patches, you go for these kind of earlier wins. And the silencer, based on how well he comes out of the laning phase, based on the usefulness of that silence in those early few fights before people have had a chance to itemize against it, opens up a fast win for you if the lanes go well. So it's an interesting ban there, and the puck is something that we saw yesterday really suffer at the hands of some very good Clock and Witch Doctor combinations. But if you look at the other team, you have 2 instant disables, so it's not something that they maybe want to pick up themselves. But also, since this is not really something that ROTK plays in the off lane, that versatility that we've seen when puck is picked up early could be something they're afraid of too. So.
Well, the silencer ban leads into this Enigma pick, and now we do see the shapes of DC's lanes a bit better, perhaps. The offlane Enigma kind of the only lane we really have seen it run, and does put the Sankic Rubik as our support duo most likely.
Okay.
Didn't MP play Jungle Enigma quite some time ago with Blightstone as well? The same way Jack played his Venomancer.
Alright, I'll take it, yeah. Well, how did that game go? It was the same way as my jungle Venomancer?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you did win your jungle
You won most of
Venomancer
them.
game.
No, all right, pick more jungles is what I'm hearing.
Well, you lost the early game, but redeemed yourself in the late game.
He lost to the jungle creeps, but beat the enemy heroes.
It's all about breaking the knees when it counts.
Well, we have a Terrorblade coming out for VG Gaming. Something that we haven't seen very much of. I think but you know, it gives you a good building hitter, good way to high ground. But right now, the team fight in comparison to DC is just, it's not looking as strong.
It opens up of the aggressive heroes. It opens up potentially faster wins as well. And I like the complementary heroes that they've picked so far with Terrorblade. It's very hard to get on top of this hero as it stands right now with the Clockwork and the Witch Doctor. So pretty good pairings coming out of the gate.
And a Mason Weaver.
A classic hero for Mason. Also, they don't have any disable in these 3 heroes for Weaver. They have cogs, but that's pretty much it. He can just time-lapse from it. They need something stronger. And also, they need to focus other heroes like Enigma, Sanking in a team fight, so I think Weaver's gonna have a pretty easy time during the mid-game.
See what VGJ have in store for us. Unlikely to be the offlane Clock, or are you guys feeling like it's going to be a FY hero, ROTK hero?
You know, I guess we haven't seen very much offlane Clock, but could be.
I think it might be an FY hero. I wouldn't be surprised to. I'm not sure how you feel about Slardar in this situation. Maybe to.
I feel like they need some. Okay, well they picked. That's most likely the freeze hero. Gives you lane push, some amount of team fight.
They might consider getting, let's say, a Venge carry. Or now it's a Terrorblade. Maybe they could put a Terrorblade mid, put a Venge carry, have an extra something for Black Hole disable in the late game. They only have Clock Hook, but that's it. They can't really rely on that only because they need to start a fight with it.
Then you would have a Lina support.
If you have a Clockwork offlane, yeah.
You have Lina Witch Doctor supports, and that looks real ugly.
Are there any other offlaners or 4
it's
position heroes they
mid
could
lane,
get to cancel the black hole. Probably a bit limited. They could just, I mean, the Venge support could happen, but then you've got Venge Witch Doctor support, which also doesn't sound all too great.
Right now, the Death Ball looks kind of scary from VGJ, though. Again, if you end up in a position where the Terrorblade is pushing and you have to fight into him with these heroes behind him, I think that does look kind of scary. And depending on how good of a start the Lina gets off to, like that could make it very difficult for DC to hit the mid game as well.
I don't agree. Even if they get a good start on VGJ, they still have Bugs, Enigma, Midnight Pulse. Sanking will not have a Blink Dagger, but there's a Rubik spam, so they get rid of the illusions pretty easily.
We'll see a Void banned into a TA ban. So they picked the Lina, they banned one of the heroes that could match up better against it than most in Abed's hands. And as for VGJ, we find out now whether this Clock is an offlaner or going to be a support. Perhaps lacking a bit in the teamfight department seems to be the main critique of their draft so far when you look at what DC have. But they don't go teamfight, they get something that can start a fight and find a pickoff for them. They get a Batrider, an ROTK Batrider.
Yeah, I think I like their approach here. I mean, Void would have been the only thing that the only other offlaner that could have canceled a black hole. And I think it's sort of whatever. Like at this point, DC's teamfight is just so massive. You try and get something else and fight that game, it's not really going to work out. So, you know, try and create some other angles of attack with the Batrider.
All right, Queen of Pain last pick. Lacoste like in this?
Yeah, I think Queen of Pain is the nail in the coffin for VGJ here. They have that not much disable for all of these heroes. They have to focus so much on Weaver, Queen of Pain, Enigma positioning, also Sanking ult. It's gonna be really hard to fight for VGJ here.
All right.
Yo, what up from the East Coast to the West Coast, the far West Coast? We got some bangers. You ever heard about the best hip-hop rap album you ever seen? Chill Hop Music presents biggest bangers on the block. With the first swinger knockout, Digital Chaos dropped their latest piece titled 322 and a Million. Man, you're gonna be going crazy, you're gonna be going crunk, you're gonna be going hyphy over hits like Still LGD. But wait, if you go right now, you get a chance for that bonus back disc, My Dirty Ho-Ho. Ha ha. That's all you really need to know because these bangers are gonna light your whole house on fire.
Wow. Okay. That's a good start to get things going. And we didn't even miss the tower level competition as, what do you know, China
That
wins.
Chinese money.
It's actually American money.
I mean, they're willing to funnel it into the American economy. What's new? But VGJ, we'll see how they match up against DC. And DC, what song are you looking forward to, Lacoste?
The Ho Ho Ha Ha.
Ho Ho
Is
Ha
it
Ha?
available on iTunes already?
Believe so. Check it out. Want to see the Call Me LGD maybe? That's a good one as well.
I'm actually a little bit worried about this DC draft. I saw something similar to it at the Zotac Cup. I think it was a tied with these same two cores that they ran, the Queen of Pain and the Weaver. And the reason I'm worried about it is because, for the most part, Enigma either... Alright, so the black hole, right, the big ults, it either protects someone that you have to fight into, or it creates a damage environment for one of your cores. But with these two cores that they have, like, they're both already very good at getting in and out of fights, like, where they need to be. So it feels a little bit redundant sometimes with the Enigma ult, because you're not really protecting them because people aren't usually trying to jump onto them, and you're not really creating that damage environment because they can kind of move freely to do that already. So I'm not sure if the Enigma is the best fit for them. So we'll have to see how the game goes, but I'm a little bit concerned about that right now.
It sort of does create a damage environment for the Sand King. You have a way to set up a big Queen of Pain ult as well. And I guess in the case of a lasso or I don't know, somebody gets cut out with Clock, Enigma jumps in with a BKB black hole or something. it is a way to turn around a fight.
I always feel when you don't have a classic, let's say, a disable for Enigma BKB ult in the mid-late game, that you pretty much always lose the game. Enigma is not just about the black hole. You can't position yourself properly in a team fights because of that fear factor of a black hole.
The other thing I do like about DC's draft is that Weaver does really well against Batrider in the 1v1. And that leaves the Rubik and Sand King really good roaming supports together to be able to move around the map, create a lot of space, and it can create a lot of pressure on Freeze, the off lane, and the safe lane. So it's I really do like the lane setup out of DC,
Yeah, that's
just
really
because
good
of those
point.
roaming supports.
Yeah, that's a good point. They feel a lot more mobile, both in terms of the heroes and, as you mentioned, with the supports being freed up because of the self-sufficiency.
Where I think it's kind of a different story for Terrorblade, who can't be as self-sufficient against an Enigma and possible Sand King pressure. I mean, Enigma, the physical damage from idle ones isn't going to do too much, but Sand King can definitely cause issues for a Terrorblade in the early game. Much more your traditional hard carry who wants to have supports there babysitting him.
Yeah, but look at the mid matchup. It's Queen of Pain against Lena. Queen of Pain is not really vulnerable against these two supports, Clock and Witch Doctor. She can't really die if she doesn't go over aggressive. Yep. On the other hand, if Lena goes a little bit over aggressive, as he said, the supports are more mobile, and Weaver does so much more in the lane than the Terrorblade against Enigma. So I can expect some early smoke gangs from DC.
Alright, we'll find out soon enough if that's going to be coming out from them. For now, they are just doing their early game blocks. 2-man Radiant block on the mid lane, the 1-man Dire block from FY. We're seeing like a lot of this like double support blocks in the mid lane.
Batrider is trying to steal the wave.
Oh, he's got the new Immortal. Freeze. Feathery tails.
Didn't get the rare though.
Yeah, it's not golden, so...
Just looks like an ostrich a little bit. That's what it reminds me of.
Seeing a lot of Batriders do this, pull those creep waves, guarantee your level 2 as much as possible.
They did have the early ward, both early wards deep on the Dire side to try to spot that early rotation.
Up to, may have been looking for a courier kill, but he did miss it on the way back. And the early Cogs harass can be very effective in limiting Bulba's mana to spend on this mid lane.
I'm waiting for the day when someone maxes the Cogs.
Who
Grant
was
Harris
talking
will be
about
so
this? Was
happy.
Grant?
The unhealable damage guy.
Mana, you know? It's not the worst thing in the world.
Still waiting for it.
Okay.
This is pretty interesting. ROTK managed to drag the wave between his tier 1 and tier 2.
It's actually quite good if you're up against like a melee lane solo. It's not so much the damage, but like you, basically, if they come up to last hit, you'll squeeze them out of mana, and then pretty soon, like they can be threatened from a gank if you do that. It's surprisingly useful at times.
Bed saving his skills for the next game. Right, there he is. At least he's killed something.
This is actually a pretty good start for VG right now. The support movement feels a little limited on the DC side, just because, like, if the wave is on Freeze's hill right now.
There's the dead Lena.
Oh.
Yep, they get the pull on the out of position Lena, the stun to follow it up, and they'll get the kill. Bulba rotating mid with Dubu to find Freeze.
That is just, I'm talking about like form and stuff. I have to be kind of critical there because they have vision. That was not a smoke.
I feel like that should not have happened.
Yeah, they have a ward over there, you know, and it wasn't a smoke gank, and he kind of just walked up and pulled her back. So hopefully that's not the beginning of a negative snowball here from VGJ.
Well, as Scriff did point out, there's a sentry. But, I mean, waves on Lena's hill. Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, they dewarded it afterwards, so it was still there.
Eats his branch, but I don't think Freeze is going to survive even with that. They get the return kill on Rubik, but this is a mid for a support so far. FY will get away from Bulba, who didn't have the mana for another stun.
She's going to have to walk back to lane as well.
Their gank setup is so much better, especially with Rubik into Burrow Strike. What do you have? You have Cogs, you need to get super close. Witch Doctor needs to be on top as well.
Now they're going to smoke. And you guys kind of just talked about this. Weaver can be left alone. He can do fine 1v1. The supports are freed up to move, and they're just much better ganking supports. Witch Doctor isn't going to be doing anything as a ganking hero. He's kind of just stuck to the Terrorblade.
Yeah, and they haven't had to use any smokes even to win the mid lane. I mean, it looks entirely different if those ganks are dodged, right? Because
first the smoke gets popped, then he instantly wards. That was double unfortunate for the Rubik there.
Trying to cause a freeze rage quit, it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the new meta now, right?
Well, they got Clock instead. Pull him back in. Sanking has already ventured off back towards the bottom lane
It's very
now.
durable, though.
Yeah. Can't kill Quap.
No, Freeze did not get, he went 2-0-1, so no levels of Light Strike away. Might have been a kill if he got it.
Bottom lane, meanwhile, Bat not going to get chased down with the Beetle.
Those 2 kills just change the complexion of the game. If not, it almost feels like they're wasting their time there. They're not like stacking or pulling, kind of just counting on getting those kills, and they did end up getting them. So, nice early start here from DC.
Looking at some of these other lanes, Terrorblade is free farming, and Outlast hitting the Weaver, who has been a bit contested by the Bat Rider, whereas Aggressive, with the help of the Witch Doctor, has had the more or less uncontested free farm lane. And that's with Enigma denying a few range creeps, I imagine, from his conversion. Another gank on the mid lane. They really want this Lina. Bulba gets the stun off. They doesn't fully commit, but then the Rubik comes in, gets a lift still, and Freeze gets back to his tower, but then still gets brought down.
Value Haste Rune from the Wizard. And another ward dewarded.
Well, it's nice dewarding, but you're still losing your mid for a 3rd time in a row.
Yeah, this is not the game that FY really wants to be playing here, sitting behind his core mid.
The term in Chinese that translates something literally to like a bloody collapse, and that's kind of what it feels like the state of this early game is for VGJ. They've got to find something here in the mid game.
How? Would they need the Clock to be level 6 or have a Bat Rider with a Blink? I don't think Bat Rider's getting much on that bottom lane. 11 CS against 29 for Mason.
I think FY here should just be pulling, because if you look at the lanes from DC, he can't actually... Every single one of them is pretty much a dead lane for him. He can't really kill any of them. There's no kill potential on the Quap, but he's trying for it. He's trying for it, but Queen of Pain has a skill called Blink.
Yeah, they can't die if they don't go over aggressive. Even in the
he just needs
next
to get his
5-10
level.
minutes.
Yeah, he just needs to get his levels right now.
Fortunately, did not get the D-ward, even though he had the sentry. Abed not noticing it. But here comes the Radiant supports again. We saw this yesterday in the game 1 versus Secret. They were very active, really emphasizing these early pickoffs and kills, and it did secure DC a strong early game lead. Fenrir and earlier FY are constantly sitting this mid lane now. They really want to do everything they can to protect Freeze.
Yeah, but what exactly are they protecting? Like he's level 4.
You guys think they need to be looking to use this Terrorblade to start pushing some objectives, pressuring towers, or are they just kind of happy with him free farming?
I think at some point they should, but you know the problem is that he doesn't have that many items right now. If he gets gone on by a couple rotations or something, it is a little spooky.
I don't think they're ever, unless they get a gank or something, they're not going to be able to get the wave, it feels, to that tower to really threaten it with a push, just because of the Enigma, because the illusions can be cleared rather easily anyway. So I think they might need to make something happen in a different lane and then maybe set up for a push there, because I don't think the Enigma is going to allow that creep wave to really reach his tower at any point.
Oh, well, you talk about the rotation to the Terrorblade. This is the danger, and they'll find him, they'll black hole him. They really want this kill. No Sunder leveled up, had the Sal, but had no chance to use it. And DC take down the Terrorblade.
Like I said, it's spooky for him if a couple heroes move up, and the Witch Doctor and the Clockwork, neither of those two have any significant levels to really be doing anything right now.
If stacking and Not really offering much to this early game.
Yeah, but that's why I think he should skill Sunder. I mean, he's not pressuring towers, and he's not gonna pressure them
Dubu runs
anytime
into
soon.
Fenrir here.
Even kill and punish Dubu for this. They've got a cogs, but he can perhaps telekinesis his way out, and that's exactly what it's going to do. Hit the cogs, will get pushed a little bit, and with the rotation from Lina, they will still get the kill. So Freeze gets himself on the board in a positive way this time. See where he can go from here. Picks up a Soul Ring, so we'll be likely looking for that first item Bloodstone this game. Terrorblade still sticking to this top lane. Haven't really seen much Metamorphosis use so far.
Well, he hasn't really had to. He's had a free lane, but here we go. I think this is the first meta as Mason gets a solo kill on ROTK.
I think that supports are rotating up to try and support this meta usage. They know there's no black hole, which makes this a decent time to go for this play, but still, DC could look to just bring numbers if they want to defend this one.
It's impossible to push. Also, when Enigma gets Midnight Pulse at least one level, it's gonna be super hard for them.
Queen of Pain can TP with a Sonic Wave, and it's dangerous in itself. Weaver just dominating the 1v1 matchup, has a kill now to go with. All the farm in that bottom lane, and things looking very good for DC with their laning stage. All three lanes seem to be successful for them at this point.
Yeah, but look at the levels. Clockwork is level 4. Bat Rider's not anywhere close to Blink Dagger, so I really don't see how they're gonna initiate the fight.
They need to be doing this. I guess ROTK does have stacks now, and then I think at this point you let ROTK farm the Freeze is getting gone on, but doesn't look like they'll be catching up. I think what they need to do is like give ROTK the offlane now, because he has to get 6. He's their main playmaker before Bat Rider gets jungle or gets his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, you mean Clock. ROTK is in jungle on Bat.
Yeah.
I mean, Clock's going to have the tome now. It's hit 10 minute. That may be just enough to get him to level 6, or it should be very close. So perhaps we'll start seeing some smoke moves from VGJ off of a level 6 Clockwork. Witch Doctor just level 4. I think his level 6 not the important one here. FY though is going to continue to sit bottom, but Weaver there who can perhaps look to pressure and bully him out of this lane.
It's really hard because if Weaver overcommits on the Clockwork, you know, if he gets caught in cogs or something and a rotation comes in from the Witch Doctor or something, Mason could die. So, I mean, he'll definitely still CS, but I don't think he'll ever fully be able to bully the Clockwork out of EXP range.
Well, towers are starting to fall on the VG Gaming side. They've lost their tier 1 mid, and the tier 1 top is already down below half HP, so this is kind of the result of this weak laning stage. You've not only lost a lot on farm, but you're seeing DC start to pressure these objectives. Enigma very good at just leaving Eidolons, hitting up on buildings. And with the Veil, this Queen of Pain can actually start thinking about getting aggressive.
You have a bit of a timing window though, as Charlie mentioned, when Clockwork gets that 6 up, and ROTK is gonna skip out on that drums, which you see some bats get early on if they're getting more consistent farm. He's gonna go straight for that blink. So when those two things come online, they do have a bit of a timing before the Enigma gets a blink or a mech to grab some kills. But speaking of kills, their Freeze goes down again in the mid lane.
DC's getting a tower at mid, a tower at bottom, a kill at mid. It just feels like they don't even have to group up, and they're still getting farm towers, whatever it may be. They're dominating the game while playing split up.
But they've read the movement good. Mason on bottom probably saw Clockwork not being on the lane, just reported it, so that he's level 6, so they know they needed the level 6 on Clock to actually do something, so they just back off from the top lane. Look how aggressive Mason is playing.
The loss of that mid tower just opens up the jungle and the side lanes a little bit. And then one thing to point out right now is that DC's got kind of overlapping, not overlapping ward vision I'd say, but a little bit redundant for that part of the map, so they can probably creep those forward a little bit more.
There's the level 6 hookshot, but Forev just breaks his way out of the cogs, is running back to the tower, and it's actually going to be the Clockwork going down. Gank backfires. Asunder will keep aggressive alive for a little bit longer. There's a stun though, and that is a dead Terrorblade. This game couldn't be going much worse for VGJ, I'd say, at this point. Mason even escaping narrowly on a sliver of HP at bottom. Every lane a win for Digital Chaos.
Yeah, this is really rough. You wanted like your most farmed hero on the map. usually want him to be able to do something, which is like the last 5 or so patches we've seen, like you know, more of those aggressive style safe lane carries that, you know, they hit 6 or whatever and they TP at a lane and start fighting. And the problem is now is that your most farmed hero on the map can't do anything.
It's because of the supports. They're having the Terrorblade had pretty much free farm besides a few denies from Enigma, but still they can't put any pressure with Clockwork and Witch Doctor. Both heroes, especially Clock, need levels to be efficient.
Yeah, look, you talk about the support matchup, like the supports for VGJ, especially if they're behind, even with 6, can't really threaten even the supports of DC, let alone the cores for the most part. You have the Rubik, you have the Sand King, whereas the Rubik and the Sand King, if they see the Lina, as they have multiple times, can just immediately combo to kill her with someone else. So just having that extra bit of mobility that's harder for the VGJ supports to deal with, especially if they're behind, it's just made it very difficult. Like even with that 6, you're not going to solo kill anybody pretty much on that team, and so things have to work out perfectly. The Enigma obviously is a bit too beefy and too leveled for you to bring down with just the Clockwork or even a little bit of follow-up.
Oh, very cheeky from Freeze. I feel like that was that's not a reliable thing that you can count on every time to happen, though.
That reminds me of when Resolution's playing Luna and he gets those sneaky Eclipse kills. Like someone is kind of just like, you know, just barely in range of the Eclipse. He's out of fog and he just comes in and snipes someone down.
Freeze will take that. He's playing from behind, and even a support kill well worth it at this point. And VGJ have smoked up and looking to take over this top lane with a ward behind the tower. They want to push and take this tier 1. Problem may be that DC could look to come in and take a fight. They may not be able to defend the tower, but they're definitely strong with Black Hole, Epicenter, Sonic Wave. All their ultimates are up and ready to go.
I think you just wait for Metamorphosis to go down.
Yeah, it looks like they managed to pressure bottom, but there's a Blink Lasso, catches up Bulba on the Sand King. What's the escape plan here? Bulba has a Burrow Strike, getting stunned up a little bit for now, pushed around. The Maledict damage is not going to be enough to bring him down, and he's caught ROTK. 2 kills, Witch Doctor and Batrider. Bulba will pop. That's
maybe
high-level
Pain
Maledict.
could bottle him up.
Pulled 2 or 3 Maledict, 3 Maledict, dang.
Well, Batrider just showed his Blink Dagger even before the fight started, and the problem is Sand King will have pretty much the same timing on that Blink Dagger. That's the big problem.
It's not often when someone is lassoed for a pickoff and that person just keeps running towards you before they have to lasso. It's like, yes, please, I want it to go on you anyway.
Well, that is how far ahead DC is right now. It is about to get even scarier as Bulba's like, what, 300 gold away from the dagger?
Yep. Very, very close to it. Then you've got like your more reliable initiation. You want to kind of have the Enigma come in later in the fight. Sand King can start the fight off with a Blink Dagger. Queen of Pain's got good follow-up.
No, that's a new
Freeze.
that's a new light streak array animation.
That's true.
Look at that thing.
That's the Immortal. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty
like
sick.
The,
yeah.
Looks like a pseudo Sunstrike kind of.
It looks like the nuke from like Brood War or something.
Oh, like Command and Conquer?
Yeah, that too.
Oh,
Pull
well.
back. Well. Oh, into the lasso.
lasso.
Damn. Nicely played. Are they going to actually be able to get the kill? Looks like Freeze is going to be okay here.
Mason
Bing, bing,
time
bing,
lapses back to top.
Now, let's see, where did he time lapse to? I was like, didn't he TP in? Didn't want to go down there. And
Sorry, Dubu.
yeah, Dubu in trouble.
This is just space.
Tries to walk by. Farm those cogs, bro. You got nothing else to do. Go down.
I feel like DC shouldn't have let that tower go.
Think they're strong enough to stop fighting now?
Yeah. Well, then maybe they don't want to go before the Sand King Blink Dagger. Now he got it, so I feel they're still comfortable going, taking a fight right now, even taking the tier 2 towers. They have a decent Roche lineup with bugs.
But a move like that is a little worrying, though. It's like very reminiscent to how they lost their first game.
There's the Epi.
He's saving the stun, trying to stop the Sunder. Can they actually bring him down?
Bam.
Ooh. Yeah, barely gets the kill in time before Sunder kicks in. But, yeah, as you were saying, Charlie?
It's like where you're strong enough to fight, but you just give away free towers and free map control like that. There was another there was another cast where somebody mentioned like another team, one of their signature playstyles was defend their tier 1s to the death. I believe that was like Old Wings. Obviously, I mean, they saw a huge amount of value in it. It was like, when you have the advantage, why give anything for free? And you know, if VG manages to hit a certain timing, I would be a little worried, or manage to hit certain item timings, I would be a little worried for DC. So I feel like giving up, you know, free stuff like that is just a little sloppy.
Yeah, well, with the Mason time lapse, they didn't have much choice. But I also like the game state with these early towers. If you end up trading them for both teams, obviously, like you have a couple very good split pushers in DC, compared to VGJ, and like the sooner you can stop the waves from progressing to where the Terrorblade wants to use his meta and get on top of towers, the better. And it's just a nightmare for VGJ to be able to stop some of these split pushers if they're revealed at all, or if they don't have towers to rotate to.
Yeah, but I don't see any big item timings coming out from VGJ. They have Bloodstone, but that's pretty much it. I don't know, 4 staff or a Manta style on Terrorblade, but I don't think that changes much, especially for Terrorblade. They have 1 Linken's already on Weaver, 1 almost finished on Queen of Pain.
And the BKB Enigma is actually not too far off too, and I think that's perhaps where DC maybe felt like, yeah, we're strong, we're more farm, we could theoretically defend bottom. Let's at least wait for our item timings a bit more. The Lincoln Spheres, having the Blink BKB Black Hole is another strong one, but for now they're going to catch aggressive again, time and time again. This Terrorblade is being picked off. He may actually get a Sunder off this time. There's no one to Sunder. Great positioning and play from DC.
A lot of DPS from Midnight Pulse and Sandstorm.
Yeah. Seeing it here, could see a follow-up pick-off as well. Bulbous going very aggressive here, and with the Queen of Pain rotation, they're going to get another kill. Freeze just denies himself, accepts his fate. But that is Bloodstone charges loss, and I don't even think VGJ
He's going to die. Why doesn't Queen of Pain bottle him?
No, sometimes you run off if you want other objectives.
Does he have any charges? Scriff?
He did. It's just...
There's a creep wave to clear, man.
Bulba ran the wrong or other direction, you know?
Sometimes you just don't think about it. I don't know, you're focused on other things.
Second time.
It's like 160
There's a
gold
hard
there,
game.
man. Come on.
Maybe he thought he was dead already.
But again,
What's funny is that he didn't give him a bottle charge, but he gave him a Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah.
Well, at least
the
it's
map
something.
vision has been fairly good from VGJ. Like, even though they really struggled, they've maintained pretty good map vision, I would say. Or they should be able to see when these rotations are coming from, but they're not protecting their own jungle. And I mean, I think DC has just moved beautifully this game.
Oh, it was a Weaver with Lincoln Sphere. Pain doesn't have one finished yet. But still, at least someone is thinking about Bulba.
Oh, Blink Lasso. They've caught Rubik. It's a dead Rubik, but it's just a Rubik, so...
They can find a kill, but they don't take any objectives after that.
Yeah, they've
What is
committed meta for that. Look how far away they are. They're not even close to being able to threaten a tier 2 tower.
And the gold discrepancy still remains very Radiant favored. Close to 10,000 gold now, the lead for DC. See how they can look to use it now. Definitely in a state where they can try and defend towers with the Sanking Blink, and we see it here in action. Blink stun, catches Lina. Weaver not going to chase down as the Swarm doesn't even catch Freeze.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
They should not go
Another
near the
stun?
shrine.
Alright, this is in...
Not what DC had in mind, perhaps, and the Sunder, he Sunders his teammate. Aggressive,
Wow.
trying to heal himself back up. I'm not sure that was the play.
Well, that's a support Terrorblade right there.
Well,
That's a support Terrorblade eating a core Lina's Laguna Blade from the support Rubik.
That was Jackie Mao for you.
What did he say? I didn't hear.
He said "Be God," a reference to
Boboka?
the
Bulba.
one and
Bulba God.
only great. Show some respect. He's clearly talking about
Bulba.
TI winning coach, the greatest wizard of our time.
Immortalized on the Kiev Major card game as Bulba Coach.
Sir.
So, yeah, pretty tough spot right now if you're VGJ. It almost feels like you batten down the hatches and hope for a throw at this point. Not really sure.
Hey,
more they can do.
they've got these two cores that are very squishy. Like one blink stun from a Sand King, and Lina or Terrorblade can just instantly die. It's very tough for them to play the game. They have to be like, you pick this Batrider, you're not picking the Batrider to wait for throws. You're picking this hero normally to be the ones jumping and initiating. You don't want to be playing reactive Dota when you have the Batrider.
Most teams aren't picking any heroes to wait for throws.
There's some lineups where you do want to like counter initiate though. Like that's where certain heroes shine, like the Shaker type heroes.
I guess Magnus waits for the throw, right?
Yeah, Shaker, Magnus, these are heroes that almost want the opponents to engage on you, then you counter initiate. Batrider is not that type of hero though, I'd say.
Well, you know, if it gets to that point, VG does have some decent high ground defense. Scary pushing into the wave clear of Lina, potential lasso 4-staff from the Batrider.
Well, they know where RTK was, but the Bulba stun, can he find him? Doesn't look like it. It's a little bit further away. He's chasing the fire.
No, I'm also, you know, I can't lie. Every time I watch a Bulba team play, you know that you feel like they're never truly out of the woods, right? There's always that sense that something could just go terribly wrong, and then they're just out of the game again.
Well, it's only more than 5k goal advantage, so it's not that much.
Well, that's it. It isn't going to be the easiest task for them to break high ground, I think, with this lineup. So that might be a potential hang-up, a space for them to have issues. But
are they scared about going late game with Enigma, Quap,
exactly.
Sand King? Like,
exactly.
No,
If
they're
farm?
scared of their history.
they're scared of themselves.
Their history, man.
Well, they did come out
Bulba's
with
already
that,
done like a good 5k damage this game. Don't worry.
I'm just saying, I'm scared of their history.
They did come out with that top platinum hit, Lose to Yourself, so, you know, definitely got to be aware of that.
Well, for now, they are the ones controlling the map, farming everything, but VGJ say enough is enough. Smoke up, look for that pick. See a Rubik. FY is going to go for this one. The Telekinesis should follow as the counterplay. And here's the lasso. Catches the side hero, the Sand King. And Bulba getting pulled in has been maledicted, but hasn't taken much damage off of this. Until now, the Firefly over the top. Here comes the Enigma Black Hole. Only catches it.
What? Black hole on a clockwork? Could that use the ulti? That's not good.
You don't land every black hole. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's still DC winning this fight. Oh, the Lincolns will even block Laguna Blade as Freeze is in all sorts of trouble. Doesn't have a good escape. There's the Sonic Wave, the Queen of Pain.
Nice deny.
Okay. You'll take that deny.
This Rubik has fruitfully tanked several ganks this game, I think. Just
Sure.
They need like 2 rounds of spells to kill him, and that pretty much cinches the fight that follows.
You win a fight 4 for 1 with a one-man wasted black hole. That kind of tells the state of this game. Is going to be tough and really just get tougher as this time goes on for VGJ to do much.
Problem is they're stuck in their base. They don't have any tier 3 towers left, tier 2 towers left. There's still Aegis on Weaver, and the only ones who's farming is Lina and Terrorblade. Oh, you can't kill him.
You gotta show your dominance, you know. You gotta show, well, maybe not your dominance, but just your
Lina ping on the Weaver.
You gotta say, back off. I need to hit some creeps up here. Just go away.
No, you can't just let yourself get run over. Have just a Weaver sitting there.
Freeze has a lot of self-respect. He won't even move aside mid for ZSMJ. Why would he on aside for this Weaver?
Yeah, what's with the ZSMJ? Jack?
Oh, it's it's just there's on the forums some fans have been talking about Sumail and EG were there scrimming in China. Freeze would give up mid for Sumail, but not for some other people who asked for it, like ZSMJ, and he was kind of like, I know who you are, but no, I'm not moving aside for you. Like, who the heck are you?
I mean, Sumail's the best mid player in the world. Who's ZSMJ?
There you go. So that's respect right there.
Well, another cheap pickoff, and DC perhaps going to threaten high ground here. Black Hole not quite back up just yet for the Enigma, but will be fairly soon. They know this, got this Aegis in Mason's hands and want to maybe at least get some damage done to this tier 3 tower. Also, kind of difficult to do given the state of his health. You don't want to see him lose that Aegis and get bursted down.
Yeah, you see the relative squishiness still of DC's lineup. Like they're still relatively fragile in composition. Like the Aegis has done a lot for them, so they still do have to be careful going onto this high ground. But as that bar shows, the lead is probably approaching what, like 20k by now.
So yeah, I mean that we see a clear trajectory. Nothing's changing, and nothing will change as long as VGJ remain in their base, and that's kind of the state of this game. DC know they have control most of the map. Mid lane, bottom lane pushed out. Top lane's not being dealt with currently, but they have all the farm in the world, and this is only going to get more and more one-sided, even without DC finding kills. With that said, they may be able to find those kills.
God.
Vicious sentry ward.
Gonna be.
Oh, we got him.
God.
Check a black hole.
That's worth it.
Don't know about the BKB though, but hey, doesn't really matter too much.
You know what I really like about the Chinese scene is that there are fans dedicated enough to watch those high-level pubs and take note of the things that, like, Freeze doesn't move aside for ZSMJ, but he'll move aside for Sumail.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who, like, you know, even some of the retired players who are like big streamers now, like, you know, YYF or something like that. You get like daily, like, kind of little reports and stuff on how they've been doing with the pubs, like who's been playing with who's been feeding. EG came to town and they tracked obviously Paparazzi the journey to 10k.
Yeah, I was talking to them about it, and they Paparazzi would just, like, it would be him, and then he'd all of a sudden queue into 4 EG players. And he went from almost 10k to like 9.3.
Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about that. There was one game they talked about where I think Fear like randomed Witch Doctor or something, or Warlock, and he wanted to swap and someone else didn't want to swap, so Fear like died a bunch of times, but they still ended up winning. Yeah, there's a lot of like observation of those kinds of games, because in China, I mean, I guess the streamers are a bit more popular, a bit more prevalent than they are in even other scenes. So a lot of those guys, retired pros, just stream all day, and you know, people still watch them with quite a bit of attention. So
Are they gonna cross the river 30 minutes in?
They're doing it.
This is a bold play, guys. VGJ, I mean, calm down, guys. Calm down.
as long as they don't run into Dubu again.
I mean, they don't always take Dubu. They're not killing Mason.
I'm pretty sure they're not killing anybody except for Dubu.
They might kill
Maybe
like an
Bulba.
Enigma. They could kill an Enigma, I'd say. You almost want to find him if you can get him before the BKB.
What does 4F have? We actually, I feel like we haven't.
He was going Octarine next,
It's
yeah.
gonna be
Alright,
BKB
you're not
or-
killing him, dude.
Yeah, he's
You're not
gigantic.
killing him.
This game just, yeah, gets uglier and uglier for VGJ as time goes on. That smoke got them out of their base, but can they get this T1 mid?
They say black hole's down. Let's go, boys.
Well, it's Bulba with the 2-man black hole. Gets 2 in his stun. Sets the way with a Lina kill to start things off. Enigma's just going to BKB
That's
the
a dead
clockwork.
Queen of Pain.
Well, dead Queen of Pain. Is that going to be enough? They're still losing numbers. VGJ have lost 3, and they're on full retreat here. Bulba coming in from the north, gets the Burrow Strike, stops the Sunder, and an easy team fight for DC.
Can't fool a wizard.
Be God.
Got the tower, guys. That was almost an even fight. If you include the tower gold, VGJ won that one.
Progress.
Yeah, you gotta stay optimistic.
Abed died there. Worth pointing out, Bulba had a chance to save him, but he's like, man, you won't bottle me when I'm maledicted? Screw you, buddy.
He's going for the glory play there, Epicenter too.
Meta is down right now and they have a black hole. They can just dive in. Queen of Pain also has ultimate. She died before she could use it.
Octarine black hole ready to go. Bat's just trying to burn some creeps down. Fully commit to this tower. And if you're DC, you're happy to chill, wait for another Aegis. Found the map. Enigma's like, sweet, let's head top. There's jungle camps up there. I think he's also getting his Octarine core. Oh, he's got an Axe already on him, so things looking pretty cruisy for DC at this point.
I don't think this is gonna rush anything. They're just gonna secure their next Roche, cheese Aegis, and then try to finish the game.
Oh, this late game Enigma with like Octarine core, you have such a low cooldown on this BKB black hole. You can use it for solo kills. You have the cooldown reduction as well. That's a oh yeah, you got the cooldown reduction, and yeah, you can see there 102-second cooldown on black hole.
Yeah, there's no huge pressure on him to get off a big black hole here.
Mason teaming up with the Great Balbino, finds 1 kill, looking for a second. The Sandstorm, can he get the Sunder off? He does! Breaks the Lincolns, gets the Sunder. All time lapse out. FY is
Black
going to be
hole.
the casualty, and there we go.
With a midnight pulse.
Catches 2. The BKB on top means Freeze cannot cancel it, and buybacks are going to be forced out.
Is that a new buyback sound?
It sure sounded like one. Not heard that one before. That is not
It
the
sounded
fight you were
short and
looking
sweet
for.
compared to the previous one.
Jack, after this series is done, are you gonna play Lina? Get the item for the Lina? Just play
Dude,
it?
you know that huge lock streak that Jack had? He was just spamming mid heroes the entire time. Lina, Quap.
Queen of Pain, 15 games in 3 days.
Yeah,
Jack,
I'm just too old for the mid lane.
You're not
It's
a
just
core
not
player,
my
Jack.
thing.
I looked at your stats. You're best on Warlock, Undying. You
Jungle
stick to these supports.
Venomancer.
Yeah, Jungle Venom.
Look, I'm just best at hitting creeps that don't have too much threat of hitting back. All right, so I just gotta have to accept the old age at some point.
I also think I spent most time here at the BTS house actually watching Jack play.
Very entertaining.
Look, I sat next to a man whose account name was Marine Biologist. I won't say who. He played Pudge just about every game. It's very entertaining. It's nice watching you have a good time there, Lacoste, while I struggled. But,
Yeah,
you know.
me and David lost the previous game because I was not Pudge, I was playing a BB.
You know, I gotta say though, you know, everyone who's been pubbing at this house, from me to Wilson to everybody, I believe we've been winning almost all our games.
We win while Jack loses.
Well, an unnamed friend of mine, one game skilled mana break for me on anti-mage. Right as 3 people were coming down to the bounty room, and I died immediately afterwards. So
But this unnamed friend was nice enough to tango before the gate, so you were healing.
That's true. That's true.
There's
we
another
got an
black hole.
engagement, guys.
Gotta be fair.
Dubu again, brought down to start the fight off, but IRTK the casualty, and Queen of Pain will finish off the clock. A metamorphosis used, but very little gained for VGJ Gaming, as Roche will be perhaps the spoils of war for Digital Chaos.
Abed with the DD.
Weaver's almost 25, Quap's almost 25. These heroes just get that much scarier when they hit those peaks. At this point, VGJ, you don't win a fight off of that Metamorphosis initiation, you lose Roshan. I feel like there's certain teams that, given the position that VGJ would have GG'd by now. Like, if this was Virtus Pro, you betcha they would have GG'd out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe they want to start talking already about next game or
Oh
the draft.
no. Forfeit. Oh, what?
Wow, that's a humiliation right there.
That's the we've won Black Hole.
Well, there's been a number of solo
That's
black
the
holes this
get
game
out
on
of my
some point.
game Black Hole.
It's time to exit the game.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
Fenrir, call it for your team, bro.
I
think for-
expected some you know, some chat wheel sounds there.
Yeah, at least some ally chat ones.
I think for a veteran team, I have to believe that they've stayed in this game because they want to start talking about the adjustments already for next game.
And they have enough
It's
time,
depressing.
Jack.
You're a witch doctor. You got solo Black Hole. You don't want to
Dude,
stay in
they've
this
had
game.
like the last 10 minutes to talk about how they can adjust for the next game.
I don't think teams really talk about the next game while game 1's still going on as well. I
No,
don't know.
usually in these games, it's just depressive silence.
Yeah. Have you ever seen EG discuss what they're going to do in game 2 while game 1's still going on, Charlie?
Maybe like once or twice, ever.
There we go. GG is called. 550 AoE Shadow Strike damage. We didn't get to see it.
And yeah, and it's usually like in the last like 2 minutes or something of the game, if it happens at all. Not like, nobody takes 10 minutes to sit there and talk about, you know, what they can do next as you're losing, as you're getting solo black holed.
Well, you should just call GG while it's time, not you don't want to get humiliated, it affects your morale.
Yeah.
Well, it is too late for that.
A lot of shining points for DC. No deaths on Enigma or on Mason's Weaver. Everything kind of came together very well for them in the laning stage there. I think VGJ was just kind of the support duo we talked about a lot. They couldn't get much done in the early game. Is that kind of the core of the issue this game?
Yeah, if you look at the, you know, Clockwork's a hero that you want to pick to run around, create some space, get some, you know, quick pickoffs with battery assault or something on a support or whatever. He could not do that at all the entire game. He can't gank any of the core lanes. Enigma's always going to have the wave back. He's always going to have a million Eidolons around him. Can't gank Weaver, Queen of Pain. What does the Clockwork do here in comparison to a Sand King Rubik?
That's why I think Charlie and we thought that it might be an ROTK Clockwork, because maybe another support needed to be picked up there. The support duo, both in terms of their movements and their actual utility and ability to do things, was pretty underwhelming this game.
I mean, I think it really comes down to having just like, if you look at the way I think the successful teams have been drafting in this patch, you have a very self-sufficient one position hero that can do things early or can pressure somehow, be it a Weaver, a Lifestealer, or a Venomancer. If not that, then you have a hero like Sven that is scary. It's just pure scary and can farm stacks and take advantage of the jungle spawns. And VGJ didn't have either of those.
I think the problem was, again, supports from VGJ. I mentioned before the game that they need to play around freeze. They played around freeze, but with the wrong heroes. What I feel about the summit and the patch right now is that you need to have these position 4 and 5 heroes that they can rotate early on and just give the advantage to your probably a mid or just a safe lane. Also, I think that's the problem for the Virtus Pro picks. They lost all their games when they picked Greedy.
Like a Tree and Phoenix, and they couldn't do anything in the lanes. Yeah.
Also, the second game, can't remember what heroes that was, but still, it's the same concept.
I'm seeing a lot of the Clockwork, like first pick and played in the 4. Like, is it just because is the key to beating it like having like a Quap mid that doesn't care about a Clockwork, or why does Clock not work? Because normally we're saying, oh, Clockwork's a great first pick. It's being first banned a lot. Yeah, but like, people are scared of like the Yaps or Clockwork, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of Clockwork is great in certain situations, and a little bit of some of these players are just fucking gods on certain heroes and just have godly games. And you can't always replicate that. You can't always expect Yaps or Rubik to steal like, you know, more ultimates than the other team is casting or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it does check a couple boxes as an early pick Clockwork. Again, it doesn't give it away by position, so the flexibility is valuable early on. Natural synergy, say, you know, either with Shadow Fiend or certain other heroes that want this kind of setup or holding someone in place. But if you go with that mid pick again with the Queen of Pain, you're not really afraid of the kills. If it does end up being a support, again, like the other support duo needs to not basically hard counter it and its kill potential, and I think that just, you know, just put it over the top for them. And again, you had those wards up on the hill as freeze, and you're still dying to those ganks. That's got to change for VGJ.
We'll see if it changes. We've got Game 2 coming up. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Dota Summit 7. We've got VG Gaming J versus Digital Chaos. We'll be right back.